What's up, everybody on YouTube, and welcome to Late Night Frights. I am your, well, I guess I'm a pre-member right now. I'm going through my 2-week trial, but I am hoping to be your new Saturday host. My name is Little Rocker Cutie 2005, also known as Andre, and for this week is Zombie Week, from what I've been told, and the movie I chose to review is Tom Savini's 1990 remake of Night of the Living Dead. Now, this is actually one of probably my all-time favorite zombie film, because it's actually the first one I saw, and I actually saw it back in the day on TNT's Monster Vision when Joe Bug Briggs was hosting it, and I actually saw it with my grandma, so it's kind of a little bit of a nostalgic thing for me. But basically, Tom Savini decided to do a remake, Night of the Living Dead. George Romero actually wrote the script, which is cool. It's pretty much like a shot-for-shot remake, but Tom Savini actually did do some original stuff, which I have to say is pretty cool. So he kind of took it and made it his own, but still stayed true to the original story. Basically, you got 7 people stranded in a farmhouse during a zombie outbreak, and nobody knows what's going on. And basically, these 7 people are struggling to survive. But you got Tony Todd playing your lead, Ben. You've got Patricia Tallman as Barbara. You've got, I'm trying to remember everybody. You've got William Butler as, I think his name is Tommy. There's a character named Judy Rose. I'm not sure who she's played by. I don't really remember. But you got Tom Towles playing, his name is Mr. Cooper. And then you got his wife and his little girl who was bitten by a zombie. And then you got, actually no, I think that is everybody. Yeah, that's right, that is everybody. But they're basically trapped in this farmhouse. It starts out, Barbara and her brother Johnny, actually a cameo by Bill Moseley, they're going to a graveyard to visit their mother's grave. And it basically starts out the same as the original, you know, Bill Moseley saying the famous line, "They're coming to get you, Barbara." Which, I just thought that was so cool for them to stay true to the original and actually do that. But actually, during that scene, you know like how in the original, the zombie just basically showed up and attacked? Well, this time, in this one, Tom Savini actually puts a little twist on it, because you see this old guy walking really slowly, and you think he's a zombie. Well, he bumps into Barbara, and then he goes, "I'm sorry, very sorry." And he walks off like he's got this big bump or scratch or something on his head, and then out of nowhere, that's when you get the zombie attack, is after the old guy walks away. And the zombie effects, I gotta say, are just phenomenal in this movie. I mean, I know Tom Savini is the master of gore effects. I mean, he worked on Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, Friday the 13th, a lot of those classic 80s slashers, The Burning, stuff like that. But actually, he did some of the effects, but he had a team run by Everett Vulick, I think was his name, and he would actually go on with his team to do the effects for the TV show Buffy the Vampire Slayer. But basically, the zombie attacks Barbara, kills Johnny, and she gets in the car to get away from him, and she doesn't have the key, so the car rolls backwards and into a tree. So she's basically running through the woods trying to get away from these zombies, and she comes across this farmhouse, which for the most part is locked up, but she gets in the back door, gets attacked again by a couple zombies, which is when you actually get Ben coming up in the truck, played by Tony Todd, and he asks her, "Are there any others inside?" And she's in a state of shock because she has no idea what's going on. She's just lost her brother, and so she basically kind of starts crying, getting upset, and Ben basically tries to calm her down, and slowly but surely the zombies are starting to approach. So there's only a couple outside during the day, and so between Ben and Barbara, they basically take him out, and Ben basically tells Barbara what he knows that's been going on, because he came from a town called Evans City, which is basically turned into a war zone because of all the zombies. And that's actually when you meet Cooper and his wife, because they've been hiding out down in the basement with Tommy and Judy Rose, because Cooper said that the basement was actually the only safe place. And basically, it's kind of a war between Ben and Mr. Cooper, because Ben thinks it'd be safer to stay upstairs and board everything up, and Cooper thinks it'd be safer down in the basement, which Ben basically knows is a death trap. So basically you get them boarding up the windows into the night, and the zombies are just slowly but surely approaching in masses. And actually, one of the cool things about this movie is that they revamped the character of Barbara. If you remember in the original, Barbara was a wuss and went all catatonic. In this one, Barbara becomes almost like a Ripley type character, because she's a strong female lead. I mean, she fights back, and she basically just grabs a couple guns and just starts shooting zombies like nobody's business. I mean, then you get like to the final act of it, where Tommy and Judy Rose have died because they were stupid enough that they were looking for the keys to this gas pump that Tommy's uncle, it was his farmhouse that they're hiding out in, and there was a gas pump out back, but Tommy's uncle kept it locked, so they thought they had the keys, and Tommy's trying to open the lock, and it's the wrong keys. Well, he's got a lit torch in the back of the truck, so he stupidly takes a shotgun to this lock and just shoots it off, which causes the gas to spray out, hit the torch, basically blow up the truck. Tom and Judy Rose, they're dead. So basically it comes down to, well, wait, before I get to like the final act, basically Cooper's wife goes downstairs to check on their daughter, who's been bit by a zombie, and the daughter's not there, so you automatically know she's become a zombie. And that's when you see her, and instead of stabbing her with the garden trowel like in the original, she actually just bites her on the neck, and you actually see the blood hit the original garden trowel, which I think was a really cool touch. But basically, what leads to like the final standoff or shootout between Ben and Cooper is that the daughter, who like I said is now a zombie, she comes upstairs, and Ben's telling Cooper to shoot it, and he's like, I can't, it's my daughter. And so Ben tries to shoot it. Cooper, from the stairs, starts shooting at Ben, hits him, like, I think once in the shoulder, and then again in the stomach. So the zombie of Cooper's daughter is coming at Barbara, and she basically takes the gun she has and shoots her in the head, which causes Cooper to start shooting at her. When Ben shoots at Cooper, it hits him, so he basically just kind of leaps out of view, and then it's basically come down to Ben and Barbara, whom Barbara knows that basically if they can run, they can get away because the zombies are just so slow. And like she says earlier in the movie, you can just walk right by them. And basically there's a cop zombie comes in, and what happens is they kill him and take his guns, but Ben's hurt too bad, so he can't escape, and he ends up hiding down in the basement where Mrs. Cooper has now become a zombie, so he shoots her. And you basically get Barbara, who's now out on her own trying to survive, and she comes across this team of they're like good old boys, rednecks. They're basically just survivalists in their own way, shooting any zombies they come across. But there's like a whole group of them, so she's taken in by them, and basically you get the really cool finale where it's the next day, and they go back to the farmhouse, and Ben, like I said, Ben was hiding in the basement. Cooper managed to hide in the attic and stay alive, but what happens is the rednecks are chainsawing the basement door open, because what Ben did was put a 2x4 or something like that to kind of keep the door locked and keep the zombies from getting in, because as Barbara left, all the zombies were just amassing in the house the night before, and they were trying to get to whoever was alive. So basically, the rednecks are chainsawing the door open, and you find out that Ben's a zombie, so they pretty much have no choice but to shoot him. And then Barbara, she's kind of taking a step back, near the stairs, to kind of catch her breath and get over the shock of losing the one person who was actually able to protect her through the night before. And then a hand touches her shoulder, and it's Cooper, and he's like, "You came back. You came back." And I love this, because she just takes her gun, just shoots him right in the head. The rednecks come up to her and look at her like, "What happened?" And she just says, "There's another one for the fire." So she basically walks outside and looks at kind of what the rednecks are doing. They've got zombies hung up, and they're shooting them for target practice. And so basically, she just says this really cool, she makes this really cool statement. She goes, "They're us. We're them and they're us." And that's basically how it ends. But you get this really cool montage. You see Barbara's eyes, and then you see what the rednecks are doing with the zombies and everything. They're taking pictures, group shots, and all that. And then you see them grabbing zombies with meat hooks and putting them onto a fire. and that's basically just how the movie ends. I mean, it's just got a really cool ending. I mean, for the 90s, this movie has like a really cool feel to it, and it's one I really enjoy. It's got a really cool score. The gore effects are solid. I would say if the MPAA hadn't messed with this back in 1990, it would have been a bit gorier. But during 88, 89, and 90, that's when the MPAA was really coming down on horror movies because the MPAA thought that a lot of them were going over the top, so a lot of them got pretty much chopped to bits, basically. But that's pretty much my review of Night of the Living Dead. I pretty much did the best I could with what I knew, and I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you guys enjoy me here on Late Night Frights. And once again, I want to thank the guys at Late Night Frights for inviting me to join them. I consider it a huge honor. For me, I'll say, I'm 30, so I'm probably the oldest of the group, but I gotta respect these guys. They know their stuff. They know their horror for being as young as they are, and I gotta say, they're fun to watch, and I find it amazing to believe that they're fans of my channel. So, you know, if you guys who come to Late Night Frights and, you know, see my first video here, you know, if you want to get kind of a feel for the kind of stuff I do, you know, check my channel out. Little Rocker Cutie 2005, once again, also known as Andre, here on Late Night Frights, telling you to enjoy life, enjoy some Skittles, enjoy some Starburst, and peace, love, and music, and I'll see you guys next week.